The school bus rumbled back to life. Winter break was over. I hated that. Summer was an eternity away. I slumped in my seat, my cheek glued to the cold window. Everything outside looked gray and depressing, just like how I felt. We finally pulled up to the school. Kids shuffled off the bus. Nobody talked much. Everyone was still stuck in vacation mode, except me. I couldn't shake this weird feeling in my gut, like something bad was about to happen. The hallways were freezing. I huddled in my jacket, my breath misting in the air. It was always so quiet after a break. Empty. Too empty. The silence echoed in my ears. I just wanted to get to my locker and disappear into the crowd. But something stopped me. A flicker of movement at the end of the hall, by the library, where nobody ever went. I squinted. There was a figure standing there. A man, watching me. My heart pounded in my chest. What was he doing there? Visitors weren't allowed in the school without checking in at the office, and he definitely wasn't a teacher. He was too tall, too thin. His clothes were dark and shabby, like he'd been sleeping in them. I tried to look away, to pretend I hadn't seen him, but my eyes were drawn back to him. He was still there, standing in the shadows, his face hidden in the dim light, but I could feel his gaze on me, burning into me. I spun around and raced down the hallway. My backpack bounced against my spine. I could hear my own breath echoing in my ears. I didn't dare look back. I didn't want to see if he was following me. I reached my locker and fumbled with the lock. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely get the right combination. Finally, it popped open. I shoved my bag inside and slammed the door shut. I needed to tell someone, anyone, about the man in the hallway, but who would believe me? I sounded crazy even to myself. Maybe I had imagined it. Maybe it was just a janitor or a parent waiting for a meeting. I took a deep breath and forced myself to calm down. It was probably nothing, just my imagination running wild after watching too many scary movies over break. I needed to get a grip. As I turned to go to class, I glimpsed a face in the window of the classroom door. My blood ran cold. It was him, the man from the hallway. He was watching me. A thin smile played on his lips. I stumbled back, my heart pounding in my chest. How did he get there? He couldn't have gotten past me without me seeing him. Unless he was already in the classroom, waiting for me. Terror flooded through me. I couldn't stay here. I had to get out of there. Now. I ran. Down the hallway past the classrooms, my footsteps echoing in the silence. I didn't care where I was going, I just needed to get away from him. From that creepy smile, from those cold, calculating eyes, I could hear him behind me. His footsteps were heavy and slow, deliberate, like a predator stalking its prey. He was toying with me, letting me think I could escape. Whispers followed me, hisses, my name, spoken in a raspy voice that sent shivers down my spine. I didn't dare turn around. I didn't want to see his face. I didn't want to know what he wanted. I burst through the double doors at the end of the hallway and into the gymnasium. It was empty, silent. The only sound was the squeak of my sneakers on the polished floor. I leaned against the wall, gasping for breath. I had to get help. Someone had to see him. Someone had to believe me. But the gym was deserted. The doors were locked from the outside. I was trapped. I scanned the bleachers, hoping to find a janitor or another student. Anyone. But I was alone. Completely alone. Except for him. He was out there. Somewhere. Watching me. Waiting for me. I took a step back and tripped over something on the floor. It was a book. A large, leather-bound book with a strange symbol etched on the cover. I recognized it instantly. It was the book from the library. The one they kept locked in a glass case. The one nobody was allowed to touch. How did it get here? And what was it doing in the gym? Unless he put it there. To lure me in. To distract me. But why? What did he want? I heard a noise behind me. A soft scraping sound, like someone was dragging something heavy across the floor. I whirled around, my heart in my throat, but there was no one there. He was gone, vanished into thin air. The book lay open on the floor, its pages filled with strange symbols and diagrams. I had never seen anything like it before. It looked ancient, forbidden, dangerous. I couldn't resist its pull. I reached out and touched the brittle paper. A jolt of energy surged through me. I gasped and pulled my hand away, but it was too late. Something had changed. The air felt different, charged, and I could hear his voice again, whispering in my ear. He was in my head. I stumbled back, clutching my temples. His voice echoed in my mind, telling me things, terrible things, things I didn't want to hear, things I couldn't unhear. He knew my secrets, my fears, my deepest, darkest desires, and he was going to use them against me. I had to get out of there. I had to escape him before it was too late. I ran towards the double doors, my heart pounding in my chest. I rattled the handles, but they wouldn't budge. They were still locked. I was trapped. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Then I saw him, standing on the other side of the doors, his face pressed against the glass. His eyes glowed with an eerie light. He was smiling. But it wasn't a friendly smile. It was a smile of triumph. He raised his hand and pointed at me. His lips moved, but I couldn't hear his words through the thick glass. But I didn't need to. I could feel them in my bones. He was coming for me. Panic surged through me. I hammered on the doors with my fists, but they wouldn't open. I was trapped, alone, with him. His lips moved again. This time I could read them. He was saying my name over and over again, like a mantra, like a curse. And then I understood. He wasn't there to hurt me. He was there to help me. He knew about the darkness that was coming, the darkness that threatened to consume us all, and he needed my help to stop it. He held up the book with the strange symbols, the book that held the key to everything, the book that could save us all, or destroy us. He wanted me to take it, to learn its secrets, to become the guardian of its power. But I was afraid of the responsibility, afraid of the darkness, afraid of what I might become. He reached out his hand towards me. His eyes pleaded with me to understand, to trust him, but I couldn't. Not yet. I wasn't ready. He seemed to sense my hesitation. He lowered his hand and stepped back from the doors. The light faded from his eyes. The smile vanished from his lips. He looked old and tired, defeated, and then he was gone, vanished without a trace, leaving me alone with the book and a million unanswered questions. Who was he? Where did he come from? Why did he choose me? And what was the secret of the book? I didn't know, but I knew one thing. My life would never be the same again.